My name's Christine, and I am the person that will just help you simplify your business by putting everything into a system to boil it down into cliff notes so that more people can have more success and it can translate into your business so that you can have more success as well. So I've been helping people in their own home businesses for over 15 years. I started my journey working as an independent contractor with Shaleen Johnson's company, Powder Blue Productions, and for that year from 2000 to 2011, I managed every year, it's about 60 people at a time. We would always have about 60 people launching their careers as independent contractors and entrepreneurs, teaching them how to do time management, what skills they need to do to be able to grow their business and to create a following and network, building online and social media and all of those different things. I was able to do that with her from 2000 to 2011. But that kind of a business never is going to make you rich, and it made me rich in my heart, but I didn't pay the bills. I actually took about a $30,000 pay cut. I was in medical sales and applications for a full body x-ray system. It was new at the time. It was called the Lodox, and it was from South Africa. And it would take your full body x-ray from head to toe in 13 seconds. And it was pretty sweet. And I was doing installations and applications for those for years. And then I decided I didn't want to travel anymore because I wanted, of course, get married and have family and not be traveling all the time because you get burned out. And I started in network marketing in 2008. So in 7 years' time, that's been where I've been able to launch and help many entrepreneurs in their small businesses as network marketers. And I'm aligned up with a health and fitness company. But in that course of the time, I've grown the largest organization within the whole company. And there's about 300,000 reps with the whole company. And I'm not a founding coach, but in the past 7 years, my team has grown 163,000. And in my organization, we have the most amount of millionaires and multimillionaires and top achieving coaches within that network. So I really equate it down to translating everything that I did in the previous company with Powder Blue Productions and creating a system of success for people to plug into. Because if you can have people following a system at 3 in the morning, they can do their job. And so I did that, and I just translated it over to a network marketing business, which I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about network marketing. I actually said I was never going to do network marketing. And then I was like, well, this is kind of what I'm already doing. So tonight we are going to be going over personalities. And this is actually one of my favorite topics. And I do recommend a book that I read years ago, and it's still one that I'll always recommend because it is such just a good way to think about understanding people's personality types. But if you are working to manage people or even to sell people anything, so if you're selling people a service or the idea of working with you or a product, or you're also managing people, be it you are manager 101 at your company. You could work in a box. It doesn't matter where you're working. These still apply, and you can actually excel a lot faster if you can understand people's personality types and know how to manage them. To give you some context, so back in the day when I was working and managing Shaleen Johnson's company, Powder Blue Productions. So if you don't know who Shaleen Johnson is, she at that time in her life was pretty much a fitness celebrity. She started her own company to create trademark workouts that we would then certify people to go teach live. And since then, she of course created the home video workouts for the company Beachbody. So she's a fitness celebrity trainer for them. But she has really moved her life into entrepreneur grooming and business and life coach. So that's where she puts a lot of focus now in her career. And fitness is her love, of course. But working for her company, again, we would have about 60 different people at a time that I'd have to manage. And managing those amount of personality types is a real challenge. And for those of you who have ever managed women and guys, it's mostly women. I'm just going to be very honest. Women are harder to manage, and there's just a big whole thing I could talk about with women. But with women, especially in this industry, you can come across so many different personality types. And I'm going to explain them so you guys know. But if you aren't talking with them, that will either let them understand you and so that they will like you and actually follow through with what they're going to do, or if you're not motivating them according to their personality style, you're not going to get a lot out of that person. So if you can understand someone's personality style without asking them, you are then going to know how to get them to do something, as well as how to motivate them. And that is key to your success. So I just said, without asking them. I'm going to tell you a little pet peeve of mine. So there's another person that teaches a gem style personality. And I don't follow that one, of course, because I follow Florence's with the Personality Plus book. So there's a different one out there, and a lot of people will attend these conferences, and then they come out of the conference knowing this information about personalities, and then every time that they talk with someone, whether it's a rep that they work with or someone that they're trying to work with, they always ask them, what gem are you? And a lot of times people don't know what that means because, of course, they're not in that world, so they don't know what that means. But in my philosophy at all, you shouldn't have to ask someone what personality type they are. You should have practiced and researched and learned enough to know how to identify someone's personality type by the conversation that you've had. I can quickly know what someone's style is just by having a conversation with them. And just in my initial parts of my conversation, then that's where you can easily change how you're speaking with them and also your mannerisms so that you can be more effective in the conversation. This is interesting because this is where many people really have to have someone tell them their personality type before they know how to talk with that person. So you can't do that. You cannot ask someone what their personality type is because many times people just really don't know. So let's go into some of those. I've got 2 things that I printed up for you guys. And I Googled these. And I will just tell you what I Googled, and if you want to go Google and you can pull up the same ones, go for it. So there's 4 different types of personality types. Let me get the quiz that you guys can go to. This is a quiz that you can do online, and you don't need to give your email, and so you could basically just go to this website. And again, I have no affiliation with any company except for the one network marketing company that I'm a part of. But you can go to this website, and it's right here. If I can put it there. I don't know if it's reading right, but it says go to quiz.com, right? Yeah. So go to quiz.com/personality_plus_1. So again, if you go to that URL, you can then take the quiz and you can find out what personality type you are. So I'll tell you what the 4 types are. I'll tell you what I am, and then we'll kind of dive into the different personality types so that you know how to first have a conversation with a person to get them to do what you want them to do. And then second, how do you motivate that person? Because really that's the key for everything in success in business, is you can't push your personality type onto someone. Now, probably by you guys following me, you probably have already understood or gotten the idea that I'm a pretty bossy person. I'm bossy in a good way. My husband put up on his Facebook post a picture of a little girl with a sword up to a little boy going, I'm not bossy, it's leadership skills. And he said that was me. It is leadership skills, it is. So I'm going to go through the 4 different types and then I'm going to show you here. So let's start with, and I'm hoping it's going to show. All right, yeah, I got to tip it like this though. So do you see that one up at the top there? So let me cover this one. This is called the popular sanguine. So I don't know if it's called sanguine or sanguine, but so that's one. So that's the first one is sanguine. So I'm going to say it like that. That person, by what this thing is reading, and then I'll give you more context to it, is the talker. They are fun, creative, enthusiastic, childlike, the storyteller, the demonstrative, the exciting. But here's their negatives. They are an over talker. They exaggerate. They're disorganized, too happy, loud, distractive, repetitive. So that's a sanguine. So to give you some idea of what kind of a thinker would a sanguine be, is when you're talking to that person, the type of details that that person wants to hear is the experience type of details. Like, who's going to be there? What are they wearing? Is there going to be music? Do I need to bring something? Are we going to be dancing? Is there decorations? That's what they want to know. That's what they're motivated by. Okay? So now let's go down the page to the next one. And again, the light will adjust to the phlegmatic. What does that guy say? Oh, the peaceful phlegmatic. The peaceful phlegmatic. Let me read you the positives of that one. Okay, so this person is easygoing. They're calm, patient, consistent, the mediator, sanguine. Sanguine. Thank you so much, Joanne. Okay, thank you. The mediator, they're administrative, and they're a good listener. So again, that's the phlegmatic. The negative for the phlegmatic is they're unenthusiastic, they're shy, they're fearful, they're indecisive, they're unmotivated, resist, and they judge. They're the watcher. Okay? So now, again, to give you some context of what a phlegmatic would do, is a phlegmatic going to a party would be someone that enters the party and doesn't show up like, here I am, I'm here, what's up, how you guys doing, let's get the music on. That's not a phlegmatic. A phlegmatic would be a person that would come into the party and kind of, get something for themselves, like a drink or something, and then just kind of stand back and take things in and more so wait to be approached. So that's a phlegmatic. Now, let's go to the powerful cleric. So there's the powerful choleric, so you can see how it's spelled. Okay? That person is the doer. That's what they are titled. Okay? So a cleric is a leader. They're dynamic. They're confident. They're decisive. They're goal-oriented. They're unemotional. And they're active. The negatives, bossy, impatient, short-tempered, dominates, intolerant, and demanding. Okay? So a choleric, wanting to come to this party. What does a choleric need to know? They don't really want to know about the details of who's going to be there and the music and the food and what do you wear and all. They want to know the details. Okay, what's the address? What time do I have to be there? How long is it going? Like, that's what they want to know. It's kind of the facts. I don't need to know the fluff. Just tell me exactly what I need to know, and that's it. Is my husband on critiquing this? Remember, don't be bad. Okay, so now the final one, the fourth one, is the perfect melancholy. And there's a little Eeyore. There it is. Okay? The perfect melancholy. So the perfect melancholy is thoughtful, analytical, they're scheduled, they're artistic or musical, they're sacrificing, and they're organized. But here's the negative. They're moody, they're hypochondria, insecure socially, depressed, too meticulous, and unforgiving. So again, that person is known as the thinker. Okay? So a melancholy person coming to the party would come to the party and they would be more of an observer. They would take things in, but they're always analyzing what's going on. Like during the party, they may be thinking, shouldn't we be doing cake now? Isn't this supposed to be cake? Because that's what the schedule says. We should be doing cake at 4 and it's 4:02. We should be doing cake. Isn't there supposed to be someone running the games? No one's running the games. Everyone's just running around. So it's kind of like that fact catcher, and they overanalyze. So they have a hard time going with the flow. That's what a melancholy person would be. And they see more of the pros and cons of situations. Okay, so now knowing those 4 types, I'm going to give you 2 questions. The first one, which one am I? So if you know me, you've been following me for a little bit and catching in my stuff, which one do you think I am? So which one am I the strongest? Am I a sanguine? Am I a phlegmatic? And you could just put SP, choleric, or melancholy. So put the initial of which one you think I am. Now we are talking about personality styles, and the book that we're referencing is called Personality Plus, and teaching you the 4 types of personalities. So there is a melancholy, there's a phlegmatic, there's a sanguine, and there is a choleric. So to give you guys the test answer, which I've known this for years because I did this test by the book way back when. Predominantly, so my strongest personality, because you could be a mix of multiples, okay? But a lot of the times you're going to favor one more than another. And depending on how much you may know of me, you will see that some of this will make sense once we start to dive a little bit deeper into it. But my predominant strongest one is the Cleric. So to give you an idea of what the Cleric again is that's the doer. That person's leader, dynamic, confident, decisive, goal-oriented, unemotional, active, but they can be bossy, impatient, short-tempered, dominates, intolerant, and demanding. So that's me, in a sense. Okay, but I am also, in a lower sense, the Sanguine. So the fun one, the talker, fun, creative, enthusiastic, childlike, storyteller, demonstrative, exciting, but also can overtalk, exaggerates, disorganized, too happy, loud, distracted, and repetitive. So if you're learning to learn about me, then okay. So now that's probably making a little bit of sense. So I'm strongly that person that's the driver, but I also am part of the Sanguine. Okay, I want to know about you. What is your strongest personality type from what we've just gone through? And I want to then also go through another printout that I have so that you guys can do that. I know, too happy. Is that a thing? Is it for really a thing? So I'm going to just now go to this. This says piecing together in your workplace. And I just want to quickly read through these, and then I'm going to dive deep into how you can start to manage people so that you can get them to do what you want them to do, but also to motivate them. So for those of you just jumping on, thanks so much for jumping in and finding me. My name is Christine, and I've been helping entrepreneurs and small business owners create huge success in their business for over 15 years. The past 7 years, though, has been where the insane amount of success has come out. And that's just because I've been working predominantly in network marketing and grooming entrepreneurs to be a success in there. So grooming people to be 6-figure earners, 7-figure earners, and multiple 7-figure earners. And in the course of the time, I've been able to, of course, learn social media, but I'm that person that will figure something out. I boil it down in cliff notes, basically, and deliver it to you like bullet points. I basically think if you want to know something, I'll tell you what to do. It's up to you to just go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go through this now to give you another full understanding of these different personality types so you have a great sense about it so that we can now translate these into conversations. So I would suggest that you just go read up more on this. And also, that book is a quick read. You can go read it real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to go into kind of the personalities in the workplace, because that's where your mindset has to be, since if you're obviously on these because you want to be success in your business, we're now going into the business. So the popular Sanguine is where they will be the best fit. They are like bright flowers, if you think about it that way. They motivate others to join, and they're very creative. They are best at making initial contact with people, creating enthusiasm and excitement, encouraging and uplifting others, ensuring that the group has fun. And they're apt to be easily distracted and forgetful. Their presentation style is humorous with a light touch. And the warning is they can come on too happy or cute, not considered serious or believable, and they shouldn't handle money. Realize they need fun and adventure. Okay, so I think of some of my friends that are like this, because I've got a lot of actual Sanguine predominant friends. Being in the fitness industry, that's kind of an attractive personality type. So that when we said you can be too happy, yeah, you can. Because if you always show no worry and you're too happy, especially in situations where you shouldn't be, or it really comes across fake. People can't see the real you. They feel like you're always putting a front up, and that they can't connect with you because you're just over the top, too happy, exciting. And that sometimes can be annoying. So yeah, there can be too happy. So that's something to think about, okay? Let me go back into now the peaceful phlegmatic when it relates to the workplace. Their best fit is the green grass. So they are looking at the green grass, and makes others feel like they belong, and they're a support person. So they're a supportive structure in all of it. I disagree with introverted being a weakness. You know, that's a great little question, Brianna, because Of course, those of you who know, I've been talking, of course, about my mentor, which is Shaleen Johnson, and she speaks at my conference. So I have a conference that I put on for fitness and business entrepreneurs, and it's in November here in Dallas, Texas, and it's called the Platinum Edge. And Shaleen, of course, being a great friend of mine, but also a working relationship with her for 15 years, that she always comes to my conference, thankfully, and she speaks on my stage teaching people a couple days, 2 different lectures, and then she does live workouts and all. She came last year and she spoke about personalities. That's what she was studying. And she was talking about introverts and extroverts. And I, of course, can't give her or do the justice that she did on the stage. But after her presentation, I always said I was an extrovert. I always said I was an extrovert because I have no problem talking to people. I have no problem doing videos. I have no problem being in front on stage. I mean, this past summer, I had to speak on stage to over 26,000 people. I have no problem with that. People would think, oh my gosh, aren't you nervous? No, I wasn't nervous about speaking to that many people. I was mostly just concerned and nervous that I wouldn't get my point across and that I would mess up the structure and order of my lecture. So I'm not nervous about being in front of people at all. I've given up on that. Being people critiquing you and worrying about it. You got to give that up. But what she talked about when she was explaining the different types, I realized I'm actually an introvert. And I was like, I never knew that. But I'm not a shy introvert. So what I'm known as is an outgoing introvert. So an outgoing introvert is someone, like I just explained, can do all of that stuff, has no problem initiating conversation with people and organizing things and getting people together. But I don't always want to be on. I say it all the time on my scopes. I like to sit on my couch and watch all my taped reality shows. I like to have off time, no bothering. And that's why I don't answer the phone all the time when it rings, because I don't want to answer the phone because of someone else. So I'm actually an outgoing introvert. I like to be recluse sometimes, okay? So the phlegmatic they are a support structure. They are best at making the group comfortable. They are always finding the middle ground, so they're the mediator. They're staying calm and functional amidst chaos and not overreacting to negative situations. And so they're apt to be too undisciplined and indecisive, because they're always just trying to make everybody okay. So when you think of a color, think of a phlegmatic being more of a gray, because they're just wanting everything to be okay. There's no strong or sharp corner to that person, okay? Their presentation style is they're believable and they're balanced. So have you ever had that delivery of someone on stage where they just come across really calm and everything is easy? I don't know if you've ever watched the TED Talks, but go watch Simon Sinek. So a Simon Sinek, and he wrote the book Starts With Why. And I've got it actually right back here somewhere. I got a ton of my books back there. Watch his delivery. His delivery is very calm and believable, and I think he's more phlegmatic just by gauging that. The warning part is they may come across as too low key, like, whatever, it don't matter what we do. Dull, lazy, appears too unenthusiastic and unconvinced. Don't count on them for motivation. Realize they need rest and some quiet time. So that is a phlegmatic in the workspace environment. Okay, so we got 2 more to go, and then we're going to go into how do you actually have those conversations and move them on. Cleric, the powerful cleric. Their place in the puzzle, they're square corners. So they are that defined edge, should we say. They're most likely to succeed. They usually are in leadership positions, okay? They're best at motivating people to action, controlling the plans and the productivity, giving quick and clear instructions, making sure the group sees the immediate gain. They're apt to be too impulsive and intimidating. This is so funny. I got to talk about myself with this after. I'm sorry, because that's what it is. Their presentation style is authoritative and convincing. The warning is they may come off too overpowering. They seem to look down on others and often intimidates less confident people. They realize they need action and excitement. So for me, I'm a cleric, predominantly strong cleric. Now, I've heard this because I do get to the point as soon as possible. I'd like to give people their answers, and if they ask me a question, I don't give a lot of warm and fuzzy response first. I just tell them the answer. Here you go. That's what you wanted. There you go. There it is. And that is because I'm just directive and decisive, making the here you go, do it, and you're going to have success. That's just my normal sense. So when I look at my life, and when I look at, for instance, my apt to be too impulsive and intimidating. Now, if you followed me last night, you may remember I was sitting on the U.S. Postal Service floor for 3 hours. 3 hours. Because I have these great ideas to do promotions for my coaching business and my team and reward them, but I didn't think things through all the way through, and I got stuck with 400 shirts that I had to purchase, get screen printed, put in mailing envelopes, take the sticker off the mailing envelopes, make sure that the right person's address went on the envelope that got the right size, then go to the post office and postage 400 shirts. I did not think that through because I'm too impulsive sometimes. So that was my bad. And so my presentation style and my demeanor is I'm a confident person. I haven't always been this confident. I think you have to work and develop that, but I'm in my 40s now. So I'm a pretty confident person. And when I decide to do something, I decide to do something. And I research a lot. So I want to make sure that when I am speaking about, I am speaking about confidently and passionately. Now, because I am strong to the point, I will tell you exactly what to do. That doesn't always translate over to other people. People are intimidated by me sometimes. I hear this so many times because I run a program called the 30-Day Business Boot Camp, and people claw their way to get accepted because I make people apply, and I only accept 50 people each quarter to do it. And they get kicked out because if they're not completing the activity that I'm asking them to do every day, then I'll kick them out if they have 3 strikes. Because why am I personally mentoring you that doesn't directly affect me? Why should I give my time for you if you're not going to honor what I'm giving off to you, sharing exactly my secrets of success? You're then not going to follow through? I'll get out. You don't need to be a part of it. That's the way I look at it. So some people are intimidated by the strength of a choleric, and they will watch from afar. And I'll say that I think a lot of the times that some people have not chosen me to be their mentor or coach. And I've heard this before, saying that they didn't. They thought that they would have greater, faster success with me, but because they were intimidated, they chose someone else. Here's the thing. My opinion, do you want success? You align yourself up with the person you know that will get it, and the mentor that you should have should intimidate you slightly. Because if you feel like you can run them over or that they're not going to make you sail to success, you're going to have a lot harder time. It's a lot longer time. So choose a person that has slightly put you on your toes. I think that's the strongest thing that you could do. Let's go now to the perfect melancholy, and then now let's wrap this back up into conversations. So the melancholy, the place in the puzzle, is they are the straight edges. So remember, they're the analytical person. They're the one that thinks in order. They see financial benefits, and they're a details person. Okay? They are best at planning and explaining the details, keeping the financial records straight, being sensitive to the needs of others, making sure the group sees the long-range goal, and they're apt to be very easily distracted and critical, okay? And their presentation style is very accurate and sincere. Their warning might be they might come across too intellectual and remote, and they may make others feel less intelligent and can get lost in the details. So to give you an understanding, like this is my husband. So when my husband started working with me in my business, because he used to be an chief informations officer, a CIO. So if you're not sure what that means, he was the IT world person, but the head of it for business. So it was actually for non-for-profit business. So he's come from this analytical computer world. So when he started working with me in my business, I personally am a hoarder with money. And to give you a quick snapshot, so with my business, when I first started it, because it was just another fitness job, he wanted nothing to do with it because he knew that I'll just overgive of myself for another fitness job. He didn't know what it really was for network marketing. So he said, I want nothing to do with it. I just want to go to work, come home, work out, eat dinner, play with the kids, and go watch TV. That's what he wanted to do. And he didn't want anything to do with my business. So I said, okay. So I built it. I just started building it. And then it was about 2.5 years in. And I had a check that I had to have deposited into the bank account. And I said, hey, can you just go put this in the bank? Now, we had 3 bank accounts. I had one, he had one, and we had the joint one that paid all the bills. So when I gave him my check to go deposit, He put it in the ATM, got the receipt, and he looked at it, and his eyes were like, what the heck is going on? That's when he came home, and he goes, what is going on? Because I had so much money in there. Because I was a poor girl growing up, that now growing up, I was like, let me just hoard this money. I like to see the numbers climb. And the numbers were climbing in an insane amount. And he's like, I got to do something with this. We need to invest this. We need to make use of this. This is stupid just having it sit in a savings account. But for me, I was like, I'm not giving up this money to risk in stocks. I'm not doing that stuff. So I handed that part over to him as one part of our whole life here of him working with me. So he, of course, runs the management and the schedule of the kids. We, of course, flip-flop and taking care of the kids of what sports they have to do. But for the most part, he's one responsible for getting up with them in the morning for school, getting their homeworks done, organizing the contractors around the house, working with our financial advisor. So he does all the logistics of it. But I'm the creative side and the content creation side for the company. So that's this part of what I do. Now, when you're having a conversation with someone, let's give you some context, okay? You're talking with someone that you want to share the business with. You've got a business opportunity that you want to talk to them about. Initially, when you're having a one-on-one conversation, even if it's on the phone or in person, you can tell what type of personality that person is by the way that they're answering your questions. So you have to decide to lead, first of all, and ask questions first. So first start asking questions and pay attention to how they respond. Because the type of response that they give, the descriptive language that they give is going to tell you exactly what personality style they are. So start paying attention to that. What do they describe as they are answering your question? And then when you ask your next question, again, pay attention to what they describe, and then you can understand exactly which pocket they predominantly fit in. So for instance, a lot of the times I will ask someone, well, why do you want to get into this business? What do you see yourself doing with it? I like to ask that question because then I can get a gauge of what do they see themselves doing with it. And their answer explains, are they sanguine? Are they more choleric? Are they more melancholy? So their answer, say for instance, they gave me this answer of, well, I really want to help people, but I'm just shy and I don't have a big, huge network and contacts, but I just, really want to be able to get out there and help people and also, build my own future. But I just really wanted to make sure that there was a platform to be able to do it. For me, that type of an answer would be someone like a phlegmatic. Again, think gray, more shy, more recluse. And they really want to help people because they're that sincere person, but they don't like to be on that front end, that social, the party person leading things. That person needs more hand holding. They for sure need a system to follow. You can't just tell them, hey, just go do that activity. You can't. With that type of personality type, you need to tell them every step of the process to get that activity done as they're in the training mode. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, you delegate them a job. And the job that you delegate has to be descriptive of exactly what they'll do in the process of it. So you can just tell them, hey, why don't you go share the business with someone and tell me tomorrow how it went? That's not a good thing, because then how do they do that? Again, they're gray. They're shy. They're more of an observer. So they're not that person like, sure, I'll just call someone and be like, hey, you want to check out my business? They're not going to do that. But if you give them a system of what to say and then tell them how to do the process, they're going to have a higher chance of following through and doing that. Okay? So for instance, one of the things that I've created, because again, everybody works different, that you have to have different systems of success that people will want to plug into. And one of them is sharing the business. I created a system, I call it the 5-point quick chat. Now the 5-point quick chat is basically just like a roadmap. And I always use this analogy. You know when you're like at the arcade game and you're driving that car and you're like, oh my gosh, I see the finish line up there. If I can get to the finish line, then I get more 20 seconds. That's kind of what I put the 5-point quick chat as. They're just little checkpoints in the conversation so that you don't get lost and have diarrhea of the mouth when you start telling people about your business. If you can stay on the checkpoints, the 5-point quick chat, then you're going to give them something to say and they're going to have success. So that is super accountable, like you said right there, Donna, with making sure someone is going to have success. Now, their response. Now, that is how you're going to find out when you're trying to talk to someone about buying something of your product. So for instance, say you guys are selling something to someone. Say it's the lash line or the nails, like the Jamberry nail ones. These are products. They're not necessary. It's not going to change your life. I'm sorry, but it's not going to change your life. It's not a need. It's like, I can't explain it exactly. It's nice. It's cool. It makes us feel better about ourselves. So if I'm trying to talk to someone about buying any product like that, any product, I need to make sure that when I'm listening to their response, I'm hearing what they're saying, because the way that they describe back to me why they have a slight interest lets me steer the path down the way that I know that they'll respond. I need to change my personality style to match theirs. Did you hear that? That's so critical. So critical. So when you are in a business transaction, selling a service, selling a product, selling your opportunity to join the business with you, once you've really kind of gotten onto what type of personality that person is, you need to adjust yours. You can't be that strong cleric. You need to adjust yours and what you say to respond towards what that person needs to hear because of that type of personality that they are. That's exactly it, Sybil. You need to be a chameleon, and having a great understanding of the different personality types, you'll be able to do that really quick. Because now, when you can adjust your mannerisms, it's like when you're having that one-on-one conversation with someone and they, itch their nose, and then you just, like, why did I just do that too? Like we do things like that someone else does because of that mirror image. Exactly. That's it. Same thing when you're having an in-person conversation. That's why the too happy sanguine is going to be too much. They're too much for certain personality types. So if you're a sanguine and you came to me about the business and you started telling me about the business, I'm a choleric, and you started telling me, oh my gosh, it's so fun. What we do is every quarter we come together, this big, huge meeting, and we watch this awesome video, and there's like 500 people there, and we all just talk, and we have such a great time, and then after we'll do a workout, and after that, then we get together and we just stay connected online, and we're always cheering each other on and their photos and all of that. You would totally love it. I'm out. Yeah, I am part sanguine. Sanguine. I'm part, but I'm choleric. I'm choleric first. I need to know the details. What am I getting out of this meeting? Do I have to talk to people? Because I may not want to. Today might be an introverted day. See, that's the thing, is if that sanguine didn't realize who they're talking to, I'm gone. You don't see the picture in me of what I can be in this. And that's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they share their business and service and products with people, is they push their personality on to everyone. This is a fun, or very low key. Yeah, what we do is we'll get together. There's a yearly meeting, and this year there was 25,000 people, that came to it, and it was a really good time. It was a good time. We met up and we learned a lot. And I came home and I was, really excited to get going in my business and really put some of it to action and get my team going. I'm not believing you, because that personality type, I'm not motivated by that personality type. I'm motivated by the decision people. So for instance, for those, again, who follow me, one of my mentors, his name is Bo Eason. Bo Eason used to play for the Houston Oilers. He's an NFL football player. And I first heard about Bo Eason when I was attending Brendan Burchard's Experts Academy a couple years back. And Brendan spoke about his one training that he would have called the World's Greatest Speaker Conference. And I was like, oh, I totally want to go to that, because I just want to always improve my speaking skills. And he spoke about Bo and how Bo was the most amazing speaker he's ever seen. And I'm like, what? A football player? How can a football player be the most amazing speaker ever? Seriously, that doesn't make sense. So I went to the World's Greatest Speaker Conference, and Bo stepped on stage, and I was like, oh, I get it. And the biggest reason why I connect with Bo is because he's an athlete, and I'm an athlete to a degree as well. I don't play sports, but I'm a professional fitness professional, so I'm an athlete. So there's a deciding factor when it comes to being an athlete. When you want to be the best at what you do, It's you decide to be the best at what you do, and you do. And that's my mentality, and that's his mentality. And he's very animated, and obviously I am too. And that's why I just gravitate to that personality. Convicted, confident, delivered. I believe him. I trust him. Same with Brendan. Same with Shaleen. That's why your mentors have to have those same characteristics that match with you so that you believe and trust in them. Doesn't mean we have to find a mentor opposite to our personality or the same. You know, Mariana, that's a great question. I guess that's up to you because, again, your mentor should be someone that will take you down to the path that will lead you to the success level that you want. So again, match your success level to where you want in your mentor. So for instance, if your mentor is going down a path that you just don't agree with, not a good mentor. Doesn't matter what the personality type is. So that's the first things first. But again, your mentor should be someone that challenges you, and you don't necessarily have to have a same one or a different personality type, but they should be intimidating and challenge you and show the path of success, that they are a person you can trust and believe and know that they will take care of you. So whatever that person is, that is how you'll define it. Okay, so do you see now how you need to change your mannerisms with them? I just don't believe we can be intentional and lean forward, pilot our lives if we're laid back. You know, Hillary, there's different people have different levels of success, and of course the different definition of what success is in their life. So that's where, I can't say one, of course, personality type is deemed to be more successful than another, because again, they're successful in their own right. So someone that is more of a phlegmatic, more gray, stands back, an observer and all. That person is a person that does a lot of things behind the scenes that you never see. Do you ever see that person just came out of nowhere sometimes? No one ever comes out of nowhere. They've always been building in the process of it all. So that's sometimes it. They're just kind of like that silent person that's successful. They don't need to be braggadocious. They don't need to have the constant pat on the backs. So I think the level of success is different and defined differently for everyone. But for me, I'm driven towards more choleric and sanguine type people. Mostly choleric first, because too much sanguine is too hard for me, because it is a constant level of adjusting my personality. Because a sanguine person needs to constantly hear from me, oh, so how was your weekend? What'd you guys do? So really? You guys went and saw fireworks? But it's December, really? Oh my gosh. So did your kids love it? They did. Oh, they were wearing bathing suits in December. Like, I have to go through a whole big conversation and then get to the point. So that's what a sanguine has to hear from me. And so if I am managing that person, I know I have to adjust to that, because that's what they need to hear. But for me, I can't be motivated for my own self by that, because I look at time. And for me, I just need to know what I need to do. Just tell me what to do and I'll just do it. And that's what I do. So that's what you have to think about. Okay, so now, how are you going to motivate those different types of personalities as we wrap this up, okay? So the way that you're going to motivate them is to really define exactly what are they motivated by. So again, if you are talking to someone who's melancholy, okay, they're melancholy. And that's, again, to remind you, it's someone who is analytical, more straight-lined, they are more intellectual, they are fact checkers. That's the type of person that's a melancholy. So if I'm speaking to someone who's melancholy about my business opportunity, do you think I should lead with the social side of things? The meetings that we do, the fun little online challenge groups that we do? No, they will not be motivated by that. I need to go in with more of the facts about the business. I need to talk about how money is made, where you can actually move up in levels and increase your rank, win that award, and set yourself apart. That is where that person needs to know that type of information, that analytical. And again, not saying that they can't be any part of the others, because they could, but I need to have a definition of what they are strongly. So when I can find out exactly what their personality types are, then I can set them up with homework or assignments that they'll want to do. So you can't force someone to do something that they don't want to do or they're not motivated. It's the same thing when I'm trying to figure out which workout someone should do. I hate it when people come to me and they go, yeah, I'm going to go buy that P90X because I saw it. Why? Why are you just going to choose P90X because it was on the infomercial? Do you like to work out like that? Because I don't want to do P90X. P90X is too long. I don't want to do P90X. So you have to ask a ton of questions and find out what do they really like. Because when you're trying to get someone to work out that doesn't normally work out normally, they have to do a workout that they like. Doesn't matter that it's a popular name. It has to be a workout that they like some way or another, a little bit. Because then that's where they'll be motivated to do it. And if you guys want to find out about more what I do, you can go to livefitoutloud.com. So livefitoutloud.com. All of my scopes are over on youtube.com/Christine Dwyer. You can go over there and find them all. So thanks again. All right, bye guys.